Hey guys, my name is Megan and I'll be one of the Windows instructors on this channel. So today's video is going to be about users and accounts. So first, I'm going to show you a quick slideshow about the basics and whatnot, and then I'll show you how to do stuff on an actual Windows 10 image. So this is just how you navigate to the users and accounts place in control panel. Of course, I'll show you guys how to actually do that on an image, so don't worry too much if you haven't seen this before. So the features of user accounts and control panels. So granted that you are using an administrator account, you can add a password, change the account type, delete an account, add users, and change a username. So already we know that the admin account is pretty powerful. Now, if you're a standard user, you cannot do these things. So make sure you are an administrator when you're in the image. So these are just some differences between a standard user account and an admin account. So as I mentioned, the admin account has a lot of privileges, and they can pretty much do anything to any other user account. So you need to be careful with who is an admin and who is a standard user. So with standard users, you can have a local account and a domain account. So local accounts are basically that you can only log in onto the one computer that you set up the account on. And domain accounts is you can log in through an account anywhere in a network. So for example, a local account would usually be like at your house or something, like on your laptop. Usually you just have one username and password that will only work on your laptop at home. But domain accounts, schools definitely use this. You have an account on their network, and with that you can log into any computer in their network. So you can log in from the library or the classroom or whatever. So that's a domain account. Generally, we'll be using local accounts in CyberPatriot, but you definitely should know domain accounts. That might come in handy for later rounds and server. So passwords, as I mentioned, you can change passwords in control panel, and you definitely should, because CyberPatriot will give you points for making complex passwords. Sometimes a user will come with a password that's just like password, and that's definitely not a good password. And if you change that, or if you add a password to an account that doesn't have a password, you'll get points. So passwords, I got this from the CyberPatriot training module, should be complex, lengthy, only yours, unique, different, and short term. So remember, clouds. And they should not be simple, your user ID or your name or your dog's name or just personal info. It should not have personal information in general. So remember son for that one. So when I was first learning about CyberPatriot and users and accounts specifically, my mentor told me that if your password is a word in the dictionary, then it's not a good password. You should always have symbols, numbers, and special characters, and a combination of lower and uppercase letters. And once again, you will get points for changing passwords, so you should know this. And they also should be at least 8 characters for you guys to get points. So after you do user accounts and whatnot, then you should always change the names of the admin and the guest account. Because if someone is trying to hack into the accounts and they see admin, they know that this admin has a lot of privileges. So then they'll automatically try to hack into that one, which is not good because the admin has a lot of privileges. So you should always rename your admin and guest account to something random, or not random, but you should definitely rename it. And I'll teach you guys how to do that in the image. And you should also disable the guest account, because according to CyberPatriot, he or she can still significantly disrupt the resources of the local computer, even though they are a guest account. Now, for changing the name of the admin, guest account, and disabling the guest account, you can get points. So this is something that you should definitely do as well. So this is just a plain basic image that I got. It came empty, so I just added a few things so that I can show you guys how to work with it. So this is Windows 10. Once again, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, and Server 2016 are pretty similar, and you can do all the same things with any of them. So what I teach you in Windows 10 can definitely be applied to Windows 8.1 and Server 2016. So I just made a quick little README that has the admin and the standard users that should be on the computer, as well as a couple of steps that we're going to do in this tutorial. Now, you won't get these steps on the actual README, but you will get something that's similar to this, better formatted, but similar to this on the actual README. So now we're going to go ahead and go to users and accounts. So I'm going to hit this Win key over here in the bottom left, and then just type control and then search for control panel. Then once that pops up, we're going to go ahead and click it. Once we have the control panel up, I'm going to bring it over to the side, and then we're going to go ahead and hit user accounts and then user accounts again. And then it pops up with the account that you are currently using. So it first shows that you are a local account, and then it shows the type and then if you are an administrator, then the next line will show that you are an administrator. And then after that, it will tell you whether your password protected or not. So note that while it does tell you if the user is password protected, it does not tell you if it's a good password that's being used. So that's why you really just need to go through all the users and change their password, which I'll show you how to do. So once you're here, you're going to want to hit manage another account to see all of the accounts that are on this laptop. So this is what I have. So now we're going to go through these users systematically and make sure that they're on the list and they are the proper type. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. So the first user after the one who I'm logged into is Alphabet. So we notice that Alphabet is neither on the admin list or a standard users list, so that account should not be there. So we need to go ahead and delete it. So we're going to click on it and then hit delete account, and then hit delete files, and then delete account again. So we check laptop. Okay, 7. 7 should be an admin, but doesn't have that little administrator thing tag. So we are going to go ahead and make him an admin. So I hit on 7's account, and then I'm going to hit change the account type, and then administrator, and change account type. And then we just checked 7, so now we're going to check 6. So 6 should actually be a standard user, but they have this administrator tag on them. So we're going to go ahead and change the account type. Okay. Then we have 3 is administrator and 2 is also administrator, so those are good. So now I'm going to teach you guys how to create a password and then change a password as well. I'm only going to show you on one account because once I do one account, you guys will get the idea. So I'm going to hit on an account and then hit create a password. And then if you already has a password, I'll say change your password, and I'll show you guys that next. And then remember, you're going to want to make this complex and more than 8 characters. So to get the points, so I'm going to show you an example of a password that can be used. So this is what I'm going to use for this and make that the password. We just made a password for 5 so you guys can see the password protected tag that's on 5. Now let's say we want to change the password for 5. We're going to go ahead and click on 5 again, and then notice it says change the password instead of make a password or whatever it said before. So once you hit change the password, the same prompt will come up and you just have to type in the new password that you want. So now we're going to add a user, and their name is going to be 8. It's number 4 on our tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add a new user in PC settings, and then wait for this settings prompt to come up. Now, if this settings prompt doesn't come up in an earlier version of Windows, like Windows 7, for example, then you'll do the same exact things, but it will just be all in command prompts. So you won't get this pop-up, but you'll get a different pop-up. But it should be pretty self-explanatory. It's the same thing, your username, the password that you want to enter, and whatnot. The username we said is going to be 8. And then I'm just going to use the same password as before. And then with this prompt, it'll ask you for a password hint. So I just put something simple like that. And then hit next. And then 8 is now a user. Alright, so after we made the account for 10, we're going to go ahead and refresh the control panel. So we had a user named Laptop, and we want to change their name to 9. I'm going to go ahead and click on their account and then change the account name to 9. Change the name. And we're good. So now we're going to go ahead and change the name of the guest and the admin account. So we're going to go ahead and search for MMC. All right. And then click the first one. So once we're in MMC, we're going to go ahead and hit File, then Add Remove Snap-in. Local users and groups down here, then Add, Finish, and then OK. So we're going to go ahead and double click local users and groups, double click users, and we're here. So now that we are in the users folder, we're going to go ahead and change the name of the guest and the admin accounts. So if we right click on guest and then just hit rename, we can make it something random like Luigi. And then if we right click again and hit properties, you can see a bunch of check marks, and you'll see stuff like account is disabled. So we want that one to be checked. And then we want to uncheck password never expires, because obviously we do want the password to expire. You'll want to do this for all your users, since having a password that doesn't expire is not very safe. So now if we do the same thing to administrator, rename, and then Mario. So, and then same thing, we're going to hit properties. And we see on this computer that the administrator is already disabled, so that's a good thing. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you guys are the groups. So you'll notice a lot of groups. A lot of this you can kind of ignore, but if you see something random that's not in this standard list, like characters, for example, you're going to want to check that out and make sure that it isn't anything suspicious. But this list is pretty standard, and I'm actually going to go ahead and show you guys what the administrator's list looks like. So user was originally the account here, and then I renamed it to 1, so it still shows up as 1. And then 2 is an admin, as we know. 3 is also an admin. 10 is the user account we created. 7 is an admin. Mario is the original admin account, and 4 is also an admin. So just looking at this list, we can see that all the admins that are in this group should be here, and we don't need anyone else. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a group. So we're going to click out of whatever was just highlighted, and then right click and hit new group. And we're going to name this group numbers, and then hit add to add the members, and then just start typing their names. And if you type in everything correctly, it should automatically look good. And then we're going to hit create, and we are going to exit out, and we can see numbers is over here. So we successfully added the group. Sometimes they'll ask you to do that. So once again, users and accounts is very important in Windows and even in Ubuntu. You can get a lot of points, especially in the first and second rounds, just by doing these basic things. So right after you look at your forensics questions and try to answer them, I definitely recommend that you do user accounts next. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.